Biology Chapter 1-3, Studying Life. This topic is covered in the textbook on pages 17 through 25. Living things share certain characteristics. All living things are made out of cells. All living things share a universal genetic code. They have metabolism. They display growth and development. They undergo reproduction. Living things respond to their environment. Living things maintain homeostasis, and populations of living things evolve. Living things are highly organized. They're all composed of tiny living units called cells. Some organisms are made up of a single cell. Others can contain trillions of cells. All organisms and some viruses, which are considered not living, share a common genetic code based on the molecule DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. Metabolism is the process of taking in matter and energy and changing it into different forms. So the collection of biochemical reactions and energy transformations that help keep organisms alive is referred to as their metabolism. Single-celled organisms increase their volume, and multicellular organisms add to the number of cells in their body during the process of growth. In addition, cells, tissues, and organ systems turn on or change their operations, leading to changes in the whole organism, which is referred to as development. Individual organisms die, but species continue because of the process of reproduction. Some organisms can reproduce without a genetic contribution from two parents. This type of reproduction is called asexual. Other organisms rely on sexual reproduction, which produces offspring through a combination of genetic material from two parents. Living things respond to and interact with their surroundings, the living and non-living factors of the environment. These responses can take place almost instantly or over a period of hours, days, months, or years. The three examples shown on the slide include phototaxis of a plant growing towards sunlight. The center image, you've probably experienced this personally. When the outside temperature drops, your body responds by shivering, which are involuntary muscle contractions designed to increase and maintain body heat. The third example is IHT. There are a couple different names for this type of training. It's intermittent hypobaric training, which basically involves reducing the amount of oxygen that you take in during athletic training. This can be done by training at high altitudes or by wearing special masks or working out in special containment units that reduce the amount of oxygen available. And the human body will respond to this drop in available oxygen level by producing more red blood cells with greater volume and higher concentrations of hemoglobin, which is the pigment that carries oxygen in a red blood cell. So this type of training is used especially by endurance athletes to build up their oxygen carrying potential. When the athlete stops training, goes back to sea level, or otherwise increases the oxygen supply, the body will respond by ramping down red blood cell production to a more appropriate level for the new oxygen level. Organisms expend energy to maintain a stable internal environment, and the environment is usually different from the external environment. So in the rabbit diagram, the internal conditions include 37 degrees Celsius temperature, fairly stable chemical composition, and a low amount of disorganized energy. Entropy is a term that refers to disorganized energy. In contrast, the external environment to the rabbit is much cooler, 20 degrees Celsius, has a variable chemical composition, and a much higher amount of disorganized energy. So the rabbit, and in fact all living things, have to spend quite a bit of energy to maintain homeostasis, these stable internal conditions different from external conditions. Evolution. Populations of organisms evolve or change over time. Now, an important thing to note is that individual organisms cannot evolve. Evolution is a change in the genetic makeup of an entire species or population over multiple generations. And the particular image we've got here is for the evolution of the modern horse, which has a relatively complete fossil record as compared to some other animal groups. Notice it's not a straight line. There are many branches on this pathway of evolution, and many of them here, 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 here did not survive to the present day. Only one species, Equus, which is the modern horse, has made it through to the present day. All these other forms are extinct. Big ideas in biology. There are several of them, and they include all the characteristics of life that we just described. In addition, some additional big ideas in biology are structure and function, unity and diversity of life, interdependence in nature, and science as a way of knowing. Evolution has shaped every organism as a collection of structures specialized for certain functions. The vast diversity of life on Earth is unified by fundamental similarity on the molecular level. All life on Earth is based on carbon compounds, and all life on Earth shares a common genetic code, which involves information carried in the molecule DNA. And in fact, the sequence of the information, the way that it's read, is fairly universal. So the code words for products in humans, those same code words in the DNA can be found in many other organisms, even ones that are not all that closely related to humans. Interdependence in nature. All organisms depend on other living things and non-living factors in their environment. In fact, this is the main big idea that we will be studying in ecology. And science is a way of knowing. Not a list of facts, but an overall approach to understanding and describing the natural world in terms of natural forces and events, without relying on guesses, beliefs, unsubstantiated rumors, and supernatural explanations. As usual, if you have any questions, please feel free to call or email me.